Hi everyone, this is Yana Smakula and thank you for stopping by. This video is one of those shorter technique-only videos I post from time to time focusing on the technique part of the card making process only. In today's video, I also want to show you a few new products from WPlus9. There are a few floral sets that I think are just must-haves. So I already made a few cards using these new products and I'll be sharing them in my blog sometime in October, but I wanted to give you a quick look at these first. So the first stamp set that I simply adore is the Christmas Rose Bouquet set, and I used it to create this dramatic Christmas card with the blue poinsettias. If you follow me on Instagram, you might have already seen a quick video showing how I colored one of the flowers. This is the stamp you see on the large clear block to the left, so it's a pretty big floral cluster that takes up a good amount of space on an A2 card. And in this set, there's also an additional flower and a few leaves that you can use to customize the cluster and make it your own. I used just the floral cluster and stamped it 3 or 4 times to create the look of a full background for an A2 card, and this is actually what the technique is all about, and I'll get to that in just a minute or two. Now here's another identical background that I did on white paper and started coloring in red and green using my Prismacolor pencils from Faber-Castell, and I'll show you the coloring part in this video as well. The second new set from WPlus9 is the Rose Builder stamp set. I used it to create the background for this card. So it's a color layering set with 2 roses, a large and a small rose, and a few leaves. Here is a very similar background that I stamped using this set, but using other colors of ink. I didn't like it as much. I probably should have used other colors, but I still wanted to share it with you. So for my card, I actually skipped using the bottom most solid layers for my roses. I actually figured I liked them better without the bottom layer. So this is the Rose Builder stamp set. Next is the Halibel Builder stamp set, and it's another floral one that allows you to create beautiful Christmas blooms. And this flower is actually one that is used in the Christmas Rose Bouquet set, so it's an identical image, and you can either have it in an outline form if you like to color, or in a solid form if you prefer to use your inks to stamp your images and don't like coloring. I used several light gray inks from WPlus9 and Simon Says stamp and also gold embossing powder to create these flowers. And I'll actually be sharing this card on a WPlus9 blog on the 27th of September. So stop by then if you'd like to take a closer look. Okay, so let's get to the technique that I used to create the first card that I shared, the one with the Christmas Rose Bouquet. And if you follow my blog or if you follow WPlus9 blog, you've seen me use this technique a few times already. So the idea is to create a continuous background using the same image. Have the image overlap itself, but avoid using masking. I'm not a fan of masking. I think it takes a little bit too much time to create the masks, so oftentimes I just skip doing masking altogether. Now, I learned this technique from my friend Svetlana Shayevich. She blogs at craftwalks.com, and I'll link to her video where there's more detail, and I encourage you to go ahead and watch her video. But basically, you stamp the image with clear embossing ink, add embossing powder, and heat set it. And this is what I've done already. I have my first cluster stamped. Next, you treat your paper with an anti-static powder tool, just as you usually do. Stamp the image again, filling in the white space in your card, but overlap the new image with the previously stamped one just slightly. So then you cover it with embossing powder and use a dry paint brush to remove the powder from where the 2 images overlap. Really, this is just a genius trick and I've been loving it lately. I've shared 2 more cards using this technique on WPlus9 blog where I used smaller images and did a whole lot more stamping, embossing, and overlapping. But because this is such a large cluster, I only stamped my image 3 or 4 times to cover the entire front of the card. And here's the look at this background and also nearly an identical one that I've already started coloring. It was actually an afterthought for me to film this video, so this is why the background is already colored halfway. I used my Faber-Castell Prismacolor pencils to color this and all the other cards that I've been recently sharing with colored images done on black cardstock. I really love these pencils and I only regret that I haven't started using them sooner. I have both these and also the Prismacolor pencils, and honestly, I prefer the polychromos much better at the moment. It's not to say that at some point I won't start enjoying my Prismas, but right now, the polychromos have my undivided attention and undivided affection. So I've been coloring a lot using these on black cardstock where I think they look spectacular. At least a lot of the colors look just phenomenal. And today I figured I'm going to try coloring with these on white. I will say that I'm very far from being an expert at coloring, and I'm just playing and having fun with my stamps and my pencils. So I might not be coloring my images the right way. I'm sure I'm making mistakes as I color. But what matters is I'm loving the process. So to me, coloring with these, in a way, is like coloring with Copic markers. I add the light color, next I add the dark color, and then I use my medium color to blend the two together. So in a way, it is like coloring with Copic markers. Like the logic there is somewhat the same. At the moment, I have a pack of 36 pencils, and I find that to be more than enough for my needs. I have a pack of 150 Prismacolor pencils, and I find that intimidating, too many choices of color. So my point is, if you want to try these pencils, don't go buying the largest set that there is. 18 or 36 color packs are more than enough. If I don't have a darker shade of a particular color, I'll often go over it with a gray. And the same goes if I don't have a lighter shade. I will go over my coloring with white. And I actually believe that having less colors, less pencils, will help you learn how to better use the colors and pencils that you already have. Also, as I was coloring on black and here on white, I noticed that I loved some of the colors better on black and some of the colors better on white. For instance, I much prefer my greens on black cardstock, but the red and pink colors look significantly better on white. So this is just something to keep in mind. Try coloring on different colors of cardstock and see what you like. And it doesn't have to be just white and black. You can also use craft or gray or anything else. For the card I colored on white, I ended up coloring the background with warm gray pencil as I wanted some of the flowers to remain white. And one of the ways to do that was to color the background into some other color. So that helped my white flowers pop. If you'd like to take a closer look at the new WPlus9 release, there are some other products that are being released, not just the 3 that I mentioned. I just happen to love these the most. I have a link in the video description to the new products, so check that out. I also have a list of supplies that I used today, and there's always a link to my blog where you can find lots more information. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!